He had no face. That's what made it worse. My daughter's drawing showed a man standing in the corner of her bedroom. Tall, thin, no eyes, no mouth. Just the outline of a man in black, with arms too long and fingers like wires. She called him Mr. Gray. Every night for the last 7 weeks, she's drawn the same figure. Same size, same shape, same hollow space where a face should be. At first, I thought it was just a phase. A spooky imaginary friend. Maybe something she saw on YouTube before I locked her iPad down. Kids get weird, right? But then I walked into her room one night and saw the crayon in her hand move like it wasn't hers. My name is Jenna Hart. I'm a single mom, 32. I work full-time as a nurse in Charlotte, North Carolina. My daughter, Lily, is 7. She's bright, funny, loves dinosaurs and pink overalls. She used to draw suns and birds and princesses. Her room was filled with rainbows. Until the night she got sick. It started with a fever, 104 degrees. Out of nowhere, she shivered violently, her lips turning pale. I took her to the ER where I work. Nothing showed up on the tests. No flu, no strep, no COVID, no signs of infection. She fell asleep in the hospital bed, whispering one word over and over. Gray, gray, gray. I thought she was talking about the weather. We brought her home the next morning. She seemed fine. No fever, no nausea, but she didn't want to eat. She didn't want to play. She wanted to draw. And every drawing was of him. The first one chilled me, but I tried to be light about it. I asked her who it was. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "That's Mr. Gray. He watches me when you sleep." I laughed, nervously, but something deep inside my stomach twisted. "Is he a friend?" I asked. She shook her head. "He tells me things. He knows about Grandpa. My dad died 4 years ago. We never talk about him. What does he know about Grandpa? That he didn't fall. That he jumped." I froze, because no one knew that. Not even Lily. I took the drawings and shoved them into the trash. She cried for hours. Not tantrum crying. Real, hysterical, shaking sobs like I'd ripped away something sacred. I let her draw again, just to calm her down. That night, I found another drawing on my pillow. A picture of me, sleeping, and Mr. Gray standing over me, watching. The next day, I booked a pediatric psychologist. Lily didn't speak for the entire session. She drew, one page after another. The doctor's face shifted from polite interest to visible concern. After our third visit, she pulled me aside. "I've seen imaginary friends. Shadow figures. Monsters. It's normal. But this isn't play." She believes this man is real. And she's scared of him, but also loyal to him. That's not normal. I asked if I should be worried. She nodded slowly. "I think something is influencing her. Whether it's trauma or something else. And if it's not psychological, we need to consider spiritual care. Like a priest." I asked. She didn't laugh. She just said, "Like anything that helps." That night, I asked Lily more. "Does Mr. Gray talk to you?" She nodded. Out loud. "No. In the middle." I didn't understand. "In the middle of what?" She tapped her forehead. "In the middle of me." She said he told her things about me. About people I used to know. About secrets I'd buried so deep, even I forgot about them. "Where does he live?" I asked. She pointed to the closet. I didn't sleep. I sat outside her door all night, a kitchen knife in my lap. Nothing happened. Until 3:33 a.m. That's when I heard it. A voice. Not hers. A deep, humming whisper through the baby monitor. She knows now. Red triangle pointed down, and then the crayon in her room started drawing all by itself. The baby monitor crackled. One single phrase. Not Lily's voice. Not mine. She knows now. I rushed into her room, heart thundering, knife clenched in my hand. She was fast asleep, mouth slightly open, arms wrapped around a stuffed lion. But the crayon in her hand was moving. By itself. I turned on the light. It dropped to the floor like a dead thing. The paper beside her pillow had a new drawing. Not Mr. Gray this time. It was me, standing in front of her closet. The door wide open. Something black reaching out. I looked at the Rayal closet. It was open. I never leave it open. The next morning, Lily was calm. Too calm. "Did you have any dreams last night, sweetheart?" I asked over cereal. She shook her head. "No, Mr. Gray didn't need dreams." "What do you mean?" "He was busy." She pointed to the hallway, right where I had stood, knife in hand, at 3:33 a.m. I followed her gaze. On the wall, in red crayon, was one word. 7. I checked the Nest camera feed. The file was corrupted, glitched. It skipped straight from 332 to 336. When I tried to back it up, the app crashed. I searched the wall for residue. No signs of crayon, but the mark stayed. I painted over it. It bled back through. I took Lily to stay with my sister for the weekend. I needed space. And maybe I was scared. I searched the house for answers. Old paperwork, photos, attic boxes, things from before Lily was born. I found a folder buried behind a bookshelf labeled House Prior Owners. Inside, records, deeds, receipts, and a note I didn't remember writing. Don't forget 7. The home was built in 1927. 3 families had owned it before me. The last occupants had 2 children. One died, age 7. No reason listed, just found unresponsive. The police report was brief, vague, but one detail hit me like a punch to the chest. A crayon drawing found beside the body. The sketch, a tall man in black. No face. Mr. Gray. I called the previous owner. Her number was still in my files. She answered on the second ring. I asked if she remembered the man in the drawing. Dead silence. Then a voice, shaking. I hoped he died with her. Who? But she hung up. That night, alone in my house, I dreamed of a forest. Lily was there, standing beside a tree, holding a sketch pad. She looked at me and whispered, "He's not just mine." She held up the pad. It was a picture of me, as a child, crying. And next to me, Mr. Gray. I woke up gasping. I ran to my childhood photo box, flipped through every school picture, birthday snapshot, Polaroid. Found one. Me, age 7. In the background, a blurry shape in the corner. A tall, gray figure. No face. When I went back to Lily's room, I found her sketch pad sitting on the bed. But she wasn't home. I opened it. One drawing only. The man, standing next to Lily. Next to me. Below it, scrawled in jagged red lines. Remember who drew him first. Red triangle pointed down, and I finally asked the question I never thought to ask. What if I was the one who let him in? When I was 7, I used to draw a tall man in the corner of my room. My mother kept the pictures in a folder she labeled Nightmares. I found them yesterday in a box from my childhood bedroom. The same faceless figure. The same long fingers. Always standing near a closed door. My mother died when I was 16. I never asked her what she thought those drawings meant. She never told me. I wonder now if she was afraid too. But last night, I found something else. A journal. Buried under my old yearbooks, inside a plastic tub, wrapped in a tea towel. A leather-bound journal with her initials, CH. Her handwriting was beautiful. Neat, tight, slanted. June 3rd, 1998. She's still drawing him. No matter what I do, it keeps showing up. He doesn't speak, but he watches. I thought maybe it was my own fault. Maybe he's attached to me. But the drawings, they're exactly what I saw when I was a girl. Down to the detail. We moved to escape him, but he followed. Another entry. She doesn't know I hear her talking in her sleep. She says his name. The same one I said when I was her age. We never told her. No one ever told her. And then, there's a door in the basement wall. My father sealed it with bricks. I think it's the place he came through, if she ever finds it. God help us. That same night, I couldn't sleep. So I went into the attic. I don't know what I was looking for. Cobwebs, old lamps, paint cans, and a mirror. Tall, gilded frame, wrapped in a dusty sheet. I don't remember it being there before, but something pulled me toward it. I unwrapped it, wiped it clean, and saw my daughter, standing behind me. I turned, she wasn't there. I looked back at the mirror. There she was, holding a drawing. She mouthed something I couldn't hear. I leaned closer. She screamed. The mirror shattered in a perfect line down the center. I woke up gasping, sweating, hands bleeding. I had been sleepwalking. Again. And I had carved something into the drywall of my bedroom with my fingernails. Grievin. It wasn't gray. It was something else. The original? I googled the word. No direct hits. But a Reddit post from 2012 appeared in an archive conspiracy thread. Children have been drawing him for centuries. Different names. Same shape. One user from Belgium called him Grievin. Said the word came to his daughter in a dream. She vanished 2 days later. No sign of forced entry. Only her drawings left. I printed the post. I needed proof I wasn't losing my mind. I brought Lily home. She didn't talk much, but she kept her sketch pad close. Drew without looking. The baby monitor started acting up again. White noise. Static. Clicking. Then her voice. "Mommy, he's inside you too." I ran to her room. She was asleep. I played back the audio. Nothing. Except one line, whispered so faintly I could barely hear. "He remembers the first door." I went down into the basement, tore through every box, every wall, until I found it. Behind the furnace. A square patch of bricks that didn't match the rest of the foundation. I scraped at the mortar until my knuckles split. And underneath? Wood. A door. Small. Child-sized. I didn't open it. Not yet. But I pressed my ear to the wood. And I heard breathing. I showed Lily the journal. The drawings. She didn't flinch. She turned to me, eyes hollow. "You drew him first. That's why he came to me." I cried. I told her I was sorry. That I didn't know. She nodded. "He says it's almost time." "For what?" I asked. She looked toward the basement. "For you to finish the picture." Red triangle pointed down, and that night, I found a blank sheet of paper beside my bed, with a single line at the top. "Draw what you remember." I stood in front of the door with a hammer in one hand and my phone in the other. The video was recording. I needed evidence. For the world, or for myself. The door was smaller than it should be. 4 feet tall. Child-sized, just like the journal said. It wasn't latched. No handle. Just a wooden panel, sealed by time and fear. Lily sat at the top of the basement stairs, silent. Drawing again. Her eyes never left the page. I asked her if I should open it. She nodded, and said, "He's ready." I pried it open with the claw of the hammer. The wood splintered. Dust poured out. Behind it wasn't a room. It was a tunnel, carved into the ground. Narrow. Damp. It sloped downward into darkness that swallowed the flashlight's beam. I didn't want to crawl through. Every part of me screamed not to. But Lily said, "He's waiting for your picture." So I went. It stretched far beneath the house. Too far. Farther than the property should allow. And the deeper I went, the warmer it became. At the end, the tunnel opened into a chamber. A single object sat in the middle. A child's easel. And on the paper, a half-drawn sketch of Mr. Gray. When I came back up, the house felt wrong. The light was too bright. The clocks had stopped. My reflection blinked slower than I did. Lily stood at the top of the stairs holding a new picture. The house. Perfectly drawn. But not by her hand. And in every window, Mr. Gray. I flipped through her notebook again. Every page had changed. New drawings over the old ones. Layers and layers of him. Until it looked like he was moving across the pages, frame by frame. I called the old homeowner again. I begged her to talk to me. She finally agreed to meet. At a diner off I-85. Her name was Margaret Pierce. She looked tired. Shaken. Older than her photos. "You opened the door, didn't you?" she asked. I nodded. "You let him back in." I asked her what he was. She said he wasn't a ghost. Or a demon. "He's not dead," she whispered. "He's waiting. He uses the drawings to remember his shape. But he's always been here." "Did he take your daughter?" She looked down. "No. She gave herself to him. To protect me. He feeds on memory. That's why the children draw. To give him form. So he can come back." "Come back from where?" She looked up at me. "There is no where. There's only under." Back home, I tore up the floor of my bedroom. I remembered the smell. The warmth. And there, under the old floorboards, sealed in a glass frame. My original drawing. The first one I ever made. The one I thought my mother had burned. The man. The faceless shape. The same long fingers. But something new had been added. Another figure. Smaller. A girl. He had been waiting for Lily. Since I was 7. That night, red light glowed from beneath the basement door. No source. No wires. Just a pulse. Lily woke up screaming. "He's drawing you now," she sobbed. I ran to her. Held her. Told her it was okay. But I saw her hands. Covered in black crayon. The same shade I used when I was a child. I went down to the basement. The tunnel door was closed. A new drawing sat at the entrance. A picture of me, standing at the easel, drawing myself. And below it, in perfect cursive, "If you won't finish it, I will." Red triangle pointed down, and then, behind me, in a voice like gravel and ash. "Jenna." I ran. Back up the stairs. Through the hallway. Into the kitchen. My heart was a jackhammer in my throat. That voice. My name. Not a whisper, not a dream. He said it. He said it. "Jenna." It echoed even after the sound stopped. Like it was bouncing off my bones. I looked down at my hands. Covered in graphite. But I hadn't touched a pencil. The lights flickered when I reached Lily's room. She was awake, sitting cross-legged on her bed, holding a sketchbook, not drawing, just staring at it. "Lily," I said, barely breathing. "Did you hear that?" She nodded, slowly. "He's here now," she whispered. "He's always been here." I grabbed her and held her tight. She didn't resist, but she didn't hug back. Her arms were stiff, like she was waiting for something. The house changed. I don't know how else to say it. The walls weren't the same color. Doors that led to closets now led to hallways. And the mirrors. Every mirror in the house had fogged over. Except one. The one in the bathroom next to Lily's room. In that one, I saw him. Just a flicker. Standing directly behind me. I turned. Nothing. But my reflection kept staring. Even after I turned away. I drove Lily to school the next day, desperate for a sense of normal. Halfway there, she asked, "Do you remember the forest?" "What forest?" She didn't answer, just smiled, and kept humming. That night, I dreamed of it again. Not a dream. A memory. Me, 7 years old, running through the woods behind my grandparents' house. A chill in the air. Leaves like paper shrapnel beneath my feet. And the man. Not Mr. Gray. Not yet. Just a shape. A whisper. A presence behind every tree. He watched me draw. I sat on a stump and sketched a man I didn't know. When I looked up, he was there. Real. Alive. But not human. I screamed. And the forest disappeared. I called my aunt, the only one still alive from back then. She was hesitant to talk. But I pushed. "Do you remember anything strange about me when I was little? Anything with drawings?" Silence. Then, "We weren't supposed to say his name." My stomach dropped. "You know him. He came through you," she whispered. "You drew him into the world." "What do you mean?" "You were sick for days. Delirious. Talking in your sleep. You draw in your bed. In the air. On your skin. He showed up right after." I asked her what he was. "Not a ghost. Not a demon. He's an echo. A shape that repeats itself. A parasite that feeds on recognition." And then she said, "You opened the first door, and now Lily's opened the last." I came home to find a new sketch on the wall above the fireplace. Charcoal. Lily's style. But she hadn't been home. It showed me, and her, standing in front of the tunnel door, holding hands. And behind us? Him. Arms extended, like he was waiting for a hug, or to pull us in. I tried to burn the notebook. It wouldn't light. I tore out every page. The drawings came back. I painted over them. The faces bled through. Each time I blinked, he got closer. Even in daylight. Even when I was with people. I saw him. Reflected. Waiting. I found a thread online. Buried deep in an old occult forum. I found a thread online. Buried deep in an old occult forum. Title: The Drawing Man? Anyone else? Dozens of replies. Kids from all over. Grown up now. Saying they drew him. Saw him. Thought it was just them. One post stopped me cold. "He lives between thoughts. He uses your hand to make himself real. If your child sees him, you have to choose. Let him in or take him out." And one final line. "You only get one chance to erase the drawing. And it costs something." Red triangle pointed down. I looked at Lily asleep in her bed and knew the final page was almost here. It started with blood. Lily's hand was smeared red when I came in that morning. She sat cross-legged on the floor, her sketch pad open. But she wasn't bleeding. I was. My palm. Deep cut. A perfect line. Just like the one I'd drawn in my dream. But I hadn't touched anything sharp. And next to her, in thick red crayon, a picture of me, smiling. But my eyes were gone. I flipped through the last pages. The man. Always the man. But now, he was changing. At first, he was in the background. Then beside us. Then me. Drawing. Just like I had. Drawing Lily. In the final page, she wasn't there at all. Just the man. Holding a pencil. And a mirror. I stopped sleeping. When I blinked too long, I saw him behind my eyes. When I showered, his reflection stood closer than mine. One night, I touched my face. It didn't feel like skin. It felt like paper. I screamed until my throat gave out. And in the condensation on the mirror, one word. Draw. I tried one last thing. I went back to the tunnel. The easel was still there. Waiting. A clean sheet. A pencil. And something inside me knew. If I drew the last line, it would be over. So I did. Just one. A curve. A silhouette. A shadow. And when I lifted the pencil, he was standing across from me. Real. Breathing. Smiling. She came to me that night, stood by the bed, eyes wide open. He chose you, she said. I know, I whispered. But why? Because you finished. She held up a new page. Me, sitting at the easel, and next to me, her, also drawing. And behind her, another child, another page. It would never stop. I called the number from the forum post. The woman answered on the first ring. You want to erase him? She asked. Yes. Then you have to give him what he wants most. What's that? A new name. What does that do? It gives him form, but also binds him. And if you bind him, you stay behind. Forever. Yes. Silence. Then, but she'll be free. I told Lily I loved her. I kissed her forehead. And that night, I returned to the tunnel. I wrote the name. 6 letters. The air folded inward. Time collapsed. And then, nothing. No sound. No shape. Just white. Until I opened my eyes. And found myself at the easel. In the tunnel. Alone. Except for a new notebook. Lily doesn't remember me. But she smiles again. Laughs. Draws trees. Clouds. Her favorite stuffed animals. Her mother watches over her now. And the house? The tunnel sealed. No sketches. No red crayon. But every now and then, she draws a tall woman. No face. No name. But always smiling. And always holding a pencil. Red triangle pointed down because the shape only needs one thing to come back. Someone new to remember.